This is a tweet from Fox News. Not backing down, Ukrainian parliament member on inspiring civilian resistance. We know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order.
What?
Ooh. Actual quote from Kira Rudik. And the interesting thing is there's like some articles that have kind of framed it as though she was saying, I can't remember, was it National Post? They were like, she was saying the invasion would precipitate a new world order or something. No, she's saying she's fighting for it. But is she referring to it in the proper noun sense of what the New World Order is? Or is she using this phrase as a buzz phrase she heard somewhere?
I mean, it's obviously it's just, even if it is just a buzz phrase and she doesn't understand it, terrible language, especially when you've already got so many people that are like, oh, look at George Soros loves this. This is like NATO. This country is an experimental country created to create American bases and NATO and spread liberal ideology. Like terrible language when you've already got people talking about all of that. It is worth simply talking about the fact that the Western ideology, even though it's morphed into something else now, what some people would call the New World Order, some people would call this amalgamation of larger institutions. It is constantly wanting to spread itself to other countries, and Ukraine is one of those countries. And if it's just Western values that it has, that's great. But if it is getting this mind worm of all the other things that is causing America to, decay in a lot of ways, then that's a problem, isn't it?
I don't know about the grand conspiracy of the New World Order. I know it's been said by several world leaders. I think George H.W. Bush said it in the 90s.
I think it's the same word as like the deep state,
right?
Where it's like it exists, but it's not lizard people. It's like there are people within the administration that stay there even when presidents change, and that's very normal. And people can call it the deep state, and they can mean it as lizard people, or they can just mean it as
I asked Alex Jones, what's the difference between the deep state and the shadow government? And he was like, the deep state, basically the administrative state, the people that get hired and stay there for 40 years and they're not elected, but they're on the floor of Congress. But then the shadow government is like a secretive kind of global governance that's in place in case of nuclear war that's going to take control. That's what Alex told me.
So here's the issue I take with this whole idea of the New World Order is there's a weird overlap between what China is doing and people saying Biden is a puppet of Xi and they want to bring Chinese style social credit systems here. But then when it comes to the Russian invasion, China's on the side of Russia and opposed to the U.S. and the U.S. is desperate to it's like begging China, please help us.
Not only U.S. Are you talking about this invasion right now? The bank. Yeah. So Switzerland, you mentioned earlier, Switzerland defied its neutrality. Switzerland is the home of the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of central banks.
Yep.
And now it's fighting on the side of against Russia or of whatever side this is.
Here's what I mean. If there was which is it? Is China's influence expanding around the world? And now Democrats went and met with China and these Communist Party members and said, wow, look at the speed at which you can build a highway. This is one of the stories we've heard. They went and they were like, how do we do this? And now you've got this happening in the West. Or is it the liberal economic order that wants to unify United States, Western nations through NATO or whatever, the European Union? Both can't be true. Right, to a certain degree, there can be some issues. That's why I'm like, it needs to be properly defined what it is. Is China, or is the grand conspiracy that Russia's invasion was all part of the conspiracy for the new?
How many levels of underwater backgammon are we playing?
Right, exactly. Or is it just make it simple? This lady said something dumb because she's dumb. Or is she part of a secret plot to overthrow?
It's like
world
the Australian health minister that said this is all about what was Klaus Schwab calling it? Thank you, Lydia.
New World Order thing?
No, she didn't say New World. Maybe
Reset?
she did. Yeah, she's like, this is for the Great Reset, and everyone was playing that. And it's like, why are you using these words?
Yeah,
right?
really.
Why?
They do
so
sound
weird.
cool, so maybe it could just be it sounded cool. Like New World Order sounds cool, really cool.
The
like
new
G.I. Joe,
normal.
New World Order.
And it can also literally just be for publicity because then they get people talking about it. And they go, well, that's not how I meant it. Obviously, you insane conspiracy theorists, but now you are talking about it.
That's what they want. That's in this mind war that we are in, fifth generational warfare. That's what they want to happen, is for people to accidentally start saying we should do what they want.
It's hard to believe anything you watch. Nothing you watch or read online, it's like, is this 12 levels of irony? Is this a serious statement? Was it a mistake? Even watching this war live, we always talked about what would it be like if we had Instagram and Twitter and everything when World War II was happening. And now we've got it, and all we're getting is a ton of fake information. Yeah. So we've got the Ghost of Kiev, who was actually, it was like a video game simulation video that went viral. And then obviously you had the footage or the recording of the 13 people that were allegedly killed on Snake Island by the Russian government, and awful. But then I saw RT published an article saying, no, we actually took them captive. Here's a video of that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much different information being put out here. What do you even?
Yeah,
Look at this. Hold on. The video showing Ukrainian fighter pilot shooting down a Russian plane. The Ghost of Kiev clip is from a video game, not a video of fighting in Ukraine. This is from PolitiFact.
Yeah.